Hi everybody, my name is Morgan Boswell and I'm going to present to you my final portfolio. So during my first semester in this creative writing course, I discovered how hard it can be to put my thoughts into words kind of on paper. And while I found writing to be difficult at times, I also found enjoyment when I could express my feelings. I've never been someone who really writes for fun, but after taking this course, I learned that writing can relieve my stress and kind of spark different things in my mind. And the poems and short stories we discussed in class sparked my interest and made me feel more comfortable speaking in front of you guys in class. When given the craft assignments, I found those to be my favorite pieces of work because I got so much positive feedback. And when we were assigned to complete craft assignments 1 and 4, I knew right away these were the 2 stories that I wanted to complete and put in my final portfolio. And after careful thought, I chose to revise my stories titled Empty and A Broken Barn, because I feel that these 2 pieces are some of my best writing and I really wanted to include them. So I kind of split up my presentation into 4 different parts. So I'm going to show you the original version of my craft assignment 1 titled Empty, and then I'm going to go into the revisions that I made, and then the original version of A Broken Barn, and then the revised versions of why I did that. So to start, I'll read you my original introduction for my story Empty. Purell, latex, and sterile rooms. These are the smells that greet me as I walk through the sliding doors of the Cleveland Clinic. As I make my way to the ICU, I sense something much worse than what I had when I first walked in. Now it's pain. Not just pain, but intense, harsh pain filled with heartbreak and sorrow. The smells grow worse as I slowly make my way towards room 437. I pause in front of the door, taking one last deep breath before I enter, knowing I might not be able to breathe once I step in. So after reviewing the after my original copy, and I did some of my adjustments based off the feedback and comments I received from you guys for peer revisions and then Professor Tascone. And so I started by eliminating the commas separating each word in that first, well now 3 sentences, but what it was. And I made them 3 separate sentences so it made more of an effect for my readers. And I also included more concrete, significant details, which, according to Janet Burroway in her book Imaginative Writing, are images that can be seen, heard, smelled, tasted, or touched. So keeping this in mind, I added massive sliding glass doors to the second sentence there to paint a clear image for my audience. And I also eliminated some of my sentence structure after the sentence, now it's pain, that way, because I kind of thought it was becoming too wordy. And the last big adjustment I made to this section of my story was when I originally wrote how the smells worsened as I made my way to room 437. And so I changed it to say, my heart pounds in my chest, so it created more of an effect because it was kind of confusing when I wrote the first part. So now I'll read you my revised version. Purell, latex, sterile rooms. These are the smells that greet me as I enter the massive sliding glass doors of the Cleveland Clinic. As I make my way to the ICU, I sense something much worse than what I had when I first walked in. Now it's pain. Intense, harsh pain filled with heartbreak and sorrow. My heart pounds in my chest as I slowly make my way towards room 437. I pause in front of the door, taking one last deep breath before I enter, knowing I might not be able to breathe once I step in. So the other story I decided to revise was A Broken Barn, and this was the 4th craft assignment. And this one was about setting, so I really wanted to focus on that. And this is my original piece that I'll read to you. This barn was not an average barn where animals were given a home with hay and a stall to sleep in, but this barn was also a home for an old soul who raised these animals. It was an older barn built in the 1700s, but Emily admired its unique features even today, while times were changing and where everything that was new is meant to be most prestigious and admirable. Emily took a step inside to find shards of glass scattered throughout each room due to the storms breaking every window it could find. The wind howled like a pack of wolves who seemed to be lost on their way home, and the unlocked doors whose hinges were only half attached smacked their frames with the power of 1,000 storms. So here are the revisions that I made, and I began revising this section of my story by creating 2 separate sentences in the first part there. By adding a period, it added more clarity for my audience. That was one of the main comments that I received from Professor Tascone. And I also replaced prestigious and admirable with examples like corporate office and upscale developments. That way I could really paint details in the setting and my audience could really see that. And this allowed my readers to grasp a better understanding of what the setting was like. Lastly, in my final sentence of the paragraph, I removed the phrase, power of 1,000 storms, when explaining how hard the door smacked the frame. And I made this revision because the image of the door smacking the frame was fine by itself with no need for those extra words, and it kind of clouded what was actually happening in the scene. So these are my revisions, and I'll read this to you now. This is how I ended up keeping it. This barn was not an average barn where animals were given a home with hay and a stall to sleep in. This barn was also a home for an old soul who raised these animals. It was an older barn built in the 1700s, but Emily admired its unique features even today, while times were changing and where everything that surrounded the barn were corporate office and upscale developments. Emily took a step inside to find shards of glass scattered throughout each room due to the storms breaking every window it could find. The wind howled like a pack of wolves who seemed to be lost on their way home, and the unlocked doors whose hinges were only half attached smacked their rooms. So those were some of the revisions I made to just my two pieces, Empty and A Broken Barn. And while I'm not 100% done revising it for the final paper, I'm looking